Okay, review for exam 1. This is part 2. We'll start with question 20 on this one, and I will finish up the rest of the review with this video. I think 2 videos is enough. So it says solve each equation, and for number 20, the equation is x minus 10 is equal to 22. Now, there's only one time that you actually solve for x. Any other time that there is no equal sign, you're just simplifying. You're just simplifying it as low as you can get it, combining like terms. That's it. But when you have an equal sign, you can solve to where x is on one side and a number is on the other to find out what the value of x is in that equation. And this is called an equation because it has an equal sign. Otherwise, it's just an expression with no equal sign. All right, so to solve for this, we need to find out who's attached to x and how. And 10 is attached to x. Well, first you have to see if there's anything you need to combine like terms, and we don't. So now we just have to solve. 10 is attached to x with subtraction, so we have to add 10 to both sides of the equal sign. So it's gone here, and we're left with x on this side and 32 on the other. You can check that by plugging 32 in for x. 32 minus 10 is 22. Let's go to 21. 7z minus 3 is equal to 6z plus 9. Well, we can't combine like terms on either side. So I need to get my values with x with z on one side and my numbers on the other. So I'm going to move my 6z to this side by subtracting it. It's positive, so I need to subtract it from both sides. 7 minus 6 is 1. So just z minus 3 is equal to 9. It's gone. Z is attached to 3 with a subtraction, so we have to add 3 to both sides. Gone. Z is equal to 12. All right. The next one is 22. And it's 4 times x plus 3 equals 3x minus 10. All right. We have to distribute that 4 across this binomial. So 4 times x and 4 times 3. 4 times x is 4x plus 4 times 3 is 12 equals 3x minus 10. Now we're going to do the same thing we just did up here. Get the x's on one side, the constants on the other. So I'm going to start by bringing the 3x over by subtracting it from both sides. It's positive on the other side. So we have x plus 12 is equal to negative 10. And then 12 is attached to x by addition, so we need to subtract 12 from both sides of the equal sign. And x is equal to, when the signs are the same, you add them and keep the common sign. 23. 3/5 x is equal to negative 9. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. You could multiply both sides of the equal sign by 5/3. Or if you don't see it that way, if you see this as more of a 3x over 5 equals negative 9, you could multiply. And this is what I would advise if you're just learning how to do this. Multiply both sides by 5. And when you do that, this reduces and you're left with 3x is equal to negative 45. And then divide both sides by 3. It's totally your call. If you did multiply both sides by 5/3, you would get x equals the same thing I'm going to get now, which is x equals to negative 15. (24) 5x plus 9 minus 7x plus 6 is equal to x plus 18. Whew, we got to combine some like terms over here. 5x minus 7x and 9 plus 6. 5x minus 7x. The signs are different, so we subtract and take the sign of the larger number. 9 plus 6 is 15. Now that we've simplified things as low as we can, we're going to get our x's on one side and our constants on the other. So I'm going to bring my x over, subtracting x from both sides. Gone here. -2 minus, this is a 1. When the signs are the same, you add them and keep the common sign. Let's get the 15 on the other side by subtracting it from both sides since it's positive on one side. Signs are different, so you subtract, take the sign of the larger number, which is positive. And then last, -3 is attached to x by multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we have to divide both sides by -3. X is equal to -1. All right. That was 24. 25 will come down here. 3 times 8x minus 1 equals 6 times 5 plus 4x. The only time you do distribution is when there's a variable inside. If it's just numbers, you do the numbers, you combine the numbers, then you multiply. You do not distribute when there's numbers. Only when there is a variable. All right, so 3 times 8x is 24x. 3 times -1 is -3. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 4 is 24. Don't forget your x. Now, this one, we're going to subtract 24x from both sides. And I know that there was a couple of you that mentioned that you're confused about when do you set them equal to each other? When do you, what do you do here? Well, this is what you do. You go until you can't go any further. Even if you're solving for x, that's okay. That's okay. Subtract 24x from both sides. What happens here? It's gone, but it's also gone over here. Now you're left with -3 equals 30. That's all you have to do. Is this true or false? This is the only thing you have to worry about with this, is whether this is true or false. And because this is false, this is a no solution. Okay, there would only be one of these on your exam. Don't freak out about these. All right. The next one is 26. And it is 3 times a plus 7 plus 6a minus 3, a plus 2 equals 45. By the way, that last one I just did, you will not have in either one of your in any of your classes that you're going to take moving forward. We don't cover it in problem solving, and we do not cover it in college algebra. Okay, it's just something you need to understand. All right, so we're going to get a lot of things happening. We've got some distribution before we can combine like terms. So distribute, and then we'll have to distribute here as well. 3 times a is 3a. 3 times 7 is positive 21. Bring down the 6a. -3 times a is -3a. -3 times 2 is -6 equals 45. We've got 3a plus 6a minus 3a. So that's 9 minus 3 is 6a. And then 21 minus 6 is 15. So plus 15 equals 45. Combining like terms, simplifying by combining like terms on the left, equaling 45. Now we solve for a. The 15 is attached by addition, 6 is attached by multiplication. We have to get rid of the 15 first before we can get rid of the 6. So we're going to subtract 15 from both sides. And that leaves us with 30. And then divide both sides. 6 is multiplied to a, so dividing both sides by 6. A is 5. All right, 27. 4 times 2x minus 3 plus 4 equals 8x minus 8. All right, distribute. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times -3 is -12. All right, simplify. 8x minus 8. Oh, there's another one of those. Okay, well, this is true. I mean, you're going to, if you subtract everything, it's going to be like if you subtract 8x from both sides, that's going to be gone and you'll have -8 equals -8. So this is true. And this is what, number 27. So the answer for this one is all real numbers. There's infinite solutions. All right. 28. 2n minus 5.4 is equal to 10.6. I'm going to get rid of the 5.4 first. It's subtracted, so we need to add 5.4 to both sides. On 2n is equal to 16. Divide both sides by 2, and n is equal to 8. 29. 0.04 minus 0.03 times 200 minus x equal to 5.2. All right, I need to distribute before I can combine my like terms. So 0.04 minus, because it's negative times a positive, 0.03 times 200 is 6. Negative times negative is positive, 0.03x equals 5.2. Combining like terms. So 0.04, minus 6 is 5.96. Negative. You subtract because the signs are different, take the sign as a larger number. Now we need to isolate x by itself, so we're going to get rid of this negative 5.96. So we're going to add 5.96 to both sides of the equal sign. On 5.2 plus 5.96 is 11.16. And then divide both sides by 0.03. $372. All right. That was 29, so 30 is 2x over 3 equals x over 6 plus 1. Now, what you want to know here is what is the common denominator between 3 and 6? And it's going to be 6. So because 3 goes into 6 and 6 goes into 6, it is 6. Here's the mistake people make. They just multiply both of these by 6 and not all terms. So the thought process here is you're multiplying both sides of the equal sign by 6. What I typically say is multiply every stinking term by 6. Every term, including the constant with no fraction. So when you do that, I mean, you can multiply and then divide, but you can just reduce. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this becomes 2 times 2x. These reduce to 1. So that's just x. 6 times 1 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4x. Bring everything else down. Combine like terms by subtracting x from both sides. Let's try to write a 6 at the same time. Gone. 6 is equal to 3x. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 2. 31. X over 4 minus 112. X over 3 plus 1, 6. What is the common denominator? What number do they all go in? What is the smallest number they all go into evenly? Do not multiply 4 times 12 times 3 times 6. That's So wrong. Don't do that. 4 goes into 12, 12 goes into 12, 3 goes into 12, and 6 goes into 12. They all divide evenly into 12. So 12 is going to be our lowest common denominator. So multiply every stinking term by 12. And reduce. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 12 divided by 12 is 1. It's already a 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 12 divided by 6 is 2. All right. So 3x minus 1 equals 4x plus 2. Move my 4x to the other side by subtracting it since it's positive. Just always take my x's to the left. It's just habit or constant or variable, sorry. Signs are different, so you subtract. Take the sign of the larger number. Bring down the -1. All right, now we need to move our constant over. And divide or multiply both sides by -1. $32. Oh, inequalities now. 2x minus 15 is less than 3. It says solve each inequality, graph the solution, and give the solution in interval notation. This is going to be a circle, not a dot, and there should only be parentheses. There will not be any brackets because there's no equal sign. So the first thing we need to do is solve for x. I need to get this 15 to the other side by adding 15 for both sides. 3 plus 15 is 18. Dividing both sides by 2. X is less than 9. To graph this, 0, 9. I don't expect it to be perfect. Just always represent where basically 0 is, so that I know what you're talking about. Where the 9 is, gets a circle because it's not included. And then x is less than. So if you have x to the left side of that number and the inequality between them, like I do here, that's why I always put x to the left. The arrow will always be pointing in the direction you need it to go in as long as you've mathematically done this correctly. So my arrow is going to go this way. There's my graph. And then my interval notation, my farthest point to the left. Remember when you do interval notation, it's furthest number to the left to the furthest number to the right. Well, our furthest number to the left is negative infinity. So negative infinity to 9, negative infinity, all infinities get a parenthesis. This 9, because it's a circle, it's not included, gets a parenthesis as well. So there's your interval notation. $33. All right. -6y less than or equal to 42. So this one's going to have a dot, not a circle, and it's going to have a bracket somewhere. Oh, I'm dividing by a negative. Remember, when you divide both sides or multiply both sides by a negative, you have to flip your inequality. So dividing by -6 means my inequality is going to become this. Positive divided by negative is a negative. 42 divided by 6 is 7. My graph, I've got 0. Here's -7. It is included, so it gets a dot. Because I have my variable on the left, I know that my arrow needs to point to the right, as long as I did my math correctly with flipping the inequality. So there's my graph. And then left to right, if you're coming down the number line, oh, our first number is -7. It is included because of the equal sign and the dot, and it's heading off to the largest number to the right, which is positive infinity. And infinities always get a parenthesis. Again, those of you who are taking college algebra next will need to have a good handle on this. We're going to be using this a lot. All right, 34. If you're taking problem solving, you're not going to see this at all. All right. We need remember, keep your variable on the left if you can, if that helps you. It does me. So I'm going to start by getting rid of this 0.3. It's positive, so I need to subtract it from both sides. 1.1 minus 0.3 is 0.8. And then, oh, I'm dividing by negative again. My bestie's blowing up my phone. Sorry about that. So I'm dividing by negative, so I need to flip my inequality. This becomes x is greater than, goodness gracious. I've got my 0.8 there, so divided by 0.2 is 4. So negative 4, because positive divided by negative is negative 4. All right, my graph, 0, negative 4. It is a greater than, there's no equal sign, so it is just a circle, no dot, and it needs to go off to the right because x is greater than. There's my graph. For my interval notation, my furthest number to the left, it starts at negative 4, but it is not included, and it's heading towards positive infinity, which also has a parenthesis. 35. 6x minus 10 less than or equal to 2, x plus 3. I'm just going to simplify the right side. I have to distribute my 2. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 3 is 6. All right, let's get our x's on the left, our constants on the right. I'm going to bring this 2x over here. Subtracting does not change the inequality. Only multiplying, dividing by a negative to both sides is what changes the inequality. We're not doing that yet. So 4x minus 10 less than or equal to 6. Add 10 to both sides. 4x less than or equal to 16. And then divide both sides by 4. X is less than or equal to 4. My graph, 0, 4, 4 is included, so it gets a dot. And x is less than. So it is going to the left. And I know that because my arrow is pointing to the left. Furthest number to the left that is a part of this solution set is negative infinity. So I'm coming from negative infinity, always parenthesis, to 4. It is included, so it gets a bracket. Please make sure that you are very strong in your answer. Don't make this look like a parenthesis. Don't do something like that. Or however you want to try to make it look, try to look like both, because I'm just going to count it wrong. If I can't, I'm not going to assume that I know what you're talking about. Please be careful and be very conscious of how you're answering questions. And don't give me 2 answers for the same question, because I'm not going to choose one for you. There's only one. All right, 36. 3 times 2x minus 4 greater than or equal to 4, x plus 2 minus 6. Distribute, and I'm going to distribute again. 3 times 2 is 6x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Greater than or equal to 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 2 is 8. Ooh, minus 6. Let's simplify the right. 8 minus 6 is 2. Now, x is on the left. And then move our constant over to the right. Divide both sides by 2. All right, there's my interval notation. I'm sorry, there's my inequality notation. Let's do the graph. 0 and 7. It is included because it has the cute little equal sign. And my arrow is pointing to the right, so it is greater than. So left to right for my interval notation, my first number is 7. It is included because of the dot and the equal sign, and it's heading off towards positive infinity with a parenthesis. So 6 more problems. 37, we're just solving for the indicated variable. So 37 is y minus 3x equals 4, and we're solving for y. Okay, well, 3x is subtracted from y, so we just need to add 3x to both sides. You could say 3x plus 4, or you could say 4 plus 3x. It's the same thing. But we have got y by itself. Please don't make this 7x. That would be wrong. You can't combine these. They're not like terms. The only way you can combine them is if the 4 had an x as well. Go to 38. 2x plus 612. We're solving for y again. All right, well, I'm going to start by getting rid of the 2x. Again, you could write 12 minus 2x or negative 2x plus 12, your call. Then we have to divide both sides by 6. Now, you've got, the best thing to do here is to separate these. Because when you do that, you can see that you can reduce them. Don't reduce them here. This is where things get messed up for students. Mistakes happen. Be careful. Separate them, then reduce, please. I know what I'm talking, or do that. I don't care. I see a lot of mistakes that way though. So negative 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Solve for y. 39. X squared is equal to y squared plus 2AD. And we're solving for A. All right, so I need to get rid of the y square, move it over. Okay. So we're solving for A. So 2 and D are multiplied to A, so I can divide both sides by 2D. This one can't reduce, so just leave it just as this is. 40, I equals PRT. We're solving for P. All right. Well, these are all multiplied, so to remove them, we are going to have to divide both sides by RT. So P is equal to I divided by RT. 41. And this one's for W. I need to move my 2L over first. P minus 2L is equal to 2W. And then we're solving for W, so divide both sides by 2. Now, again, you can separate these. P over 2 minus 2L over 2. These reduce and give you P over 2 minus L equals W. Okay. Last one. Again, if you have any questions about what I've done, please send me a message so we can meet up on Zoom before you take your exam. 2y plus 3x equals 5, and you're going to solve for y if x is 7. So I can just go ahead and substitute 7 for x, because that's all we're doing here. So 2y plus 3 where the x is, I'm just going to substitute 7 where the x is, and then finish this out solving for y. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract 21 from both sides. If you use your calculator for negatives, let me give you a little tip here. This is the negative sign, and I've told you this before. Do not use the subtraction sign. This is your negative. So negative 21 plus 5, or 5 minus 21 is the same thing, is negative 16. Divide both sides by 2, and y equals negative 8. That is your review. Again, let me know what questions you have.